Hey, welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm going to share with you tips on how to get through a bad day. The thing about mindfulness is it's all about being in this moment, right? And that can be so helpful when you're having a bad day because our brains, little known fact, they're primed for negativity. And that's for evolutionary purposes, right? Like we needed to know which was the watering hole where we were most likely to get eaten, right? So we needed to keep that in mind. But for most of us, we aren't so inclined to get eaten on our day to day basis, right? So that part of our brain is still active, but it's not needed quite as much. But because it was primed for negativity, anytime anything bad happens, we remember it and we hold on to it and it sits there and we, continue to focus on it. The next thing you know, our whole day is shot. So, how do we get through a bad day? By incorporating some mindfulness. So what do I mean by that? One of the biggest sort of tenets, so to speak, of mindfulness is acceptance of the reality of this moment, right? And by accepting, the reality of something that's gone wrong, the acknowledging that like this happened in this moment, but then this moment is done, like it's gone. Like a moment is only here for a moment. What keeps it around is our thoughts about said moment. Now, I'm going to give you an example because that's so kind of abstract, right? As I've shared before, I had a traumatic brain injury, and so I get migraines. Now, a lot of the time, I will wake up with a migraine, and it leads to nausea and vomiting. And so, on top of the pain of the migraine, I just feel really sick and gross. Now, if I continue to focus on this and to think about this and like, oh my goodness, I feel so terrible, it's gross, ugh, all that stuff, well, that'll just carry over through the rest of the day, impacting my mood, kind of taking over the whole rest of my day. When the fact is, I'll take my pain meds, and after a while, usually about 4 hours, the pain will go away, the nausea will stop, and I'll feel better. This moment right now, recording this video, I woke up with a minor migraine. And by that, I mean I wasn't sick to my stomach, but I still had the migraine pain. So I took my meds. They eventually kick in, and I start to feel better. So I start to feel better. Oh, I let go of the fact that I woke up in pain and had this migraine, and I focus on this moment, which is me recording this video, me feeling better, right? I have the whole rest of my day, and I'm not still stuck in this place of the migraine and feeling like crap. That's just one way of letting go of what's happened and focusing on this moment. But another common example, because not everybody experiences migraines, is being in traffic. So we're stuck in traffic. And I've shared before this idea of the two arrows. So the first arrow is the inevitable pain of life. We will all get stuck in traffic at one point or another. So that's the inevitable pain of life. We will all get stuck in traffic. So that first arrow is being stuck in traffic. Now, the second arrow is one that's optional, and it's about resistance and judgments. And resistance and judgments tend to lead to suffering, right? We feel worse when we're judging ourselves for something that's happened. So now we're stuck in traffic, and the second arrow starts to come in, and it's all around. Oh, this is the worst, and this stupid driver. Now I'm going to be late. My boss is going to be mad at me. And so now we're just thinking all these thoughts. And now we're feeling crummy, and we're feeling even worse than just, the fact that we're stuck in traffic. And then we get to work. And then maybe because we're in this mood, maybe somebody says something, and then we say something out of anger. to that person, and now they're pissed, and then it just lingers, and then we're still stuck and we're thinking about, oh, that stupid guy, and he didn't know how to drive, and now I'm late for work, and everybody's going to be upset with me, right? And then it carries through the whole day, and then we get home, and we often, because we can't take some of these feelings out on, say our boss or whatever, maybe some of that stuff is still there, and then we get home and we just spread it around to everybody else, right? So now what was a bad moment has become a bad day. And so we get through a bad day by remembering and asking ourselves, was it a bad day or was it a bad moment? Think about that. Think about your last bad day. Was it really the whole 24 hours was terrible? I mean, maybe. I've definitely had some pretty crappy 24-hour periods. But for the most part, on a regular basis, it's not the whole day that sucks. It's one part of the day. And when we bring mindfulness and bring that awareness and being present in every single moment, we notice that, like, well, this moment was the worst. But, then this happened, and that wasn't too bad. And then this other thing happened later in the day, and actually that was really good, right? So overall, my day wasn't too bad. This part, was awful, but then this was okay, and this was great. And ultimately, it ended up being a pretty good day, right? But because, as I said at the start of our video, we're primed for negativity, the terrible thing, or well, I think stuff in traffic sucks, but it's not terrible, because our brain is primed to remember this. This is all we remember throughout the day. So we go to bed at night and we're just still thinking about that one thing and not remembering everything else. So practicing mindfulness. And we do that by meditating. And we do that by being, sounds like just being in the moment, right? By focusing and paying attention moment to moment. We're going to do a short practice right now, because how else are we going to be in the moment and practice and learn how to be in the moment without meditating? I talk a lot with my hands. You'll get used to it. So I will lead the practice. I will ring. No, that doesn't work. I will ring my bell at the end, so you know when the practice is done. I will keep an eye on the time, so you don't need to focus and be like, how long is this going to go? I will guide you through it. I will guide you through it. It's not going to be a long practice. This is just a short breath practice to help you learn how to be in the moment, because our breath and paying attention to the breath is the best way of coming back to the moment, because we can't really hold on to our breath. Not really, not for long, any more than we can hold on to a moment. So we'll breathe together. Something short and small that you can do on your own, day to day, whenever you start to notice, like, oh, I'm really caught up in my head. I'm really focusing on that thing that happened earlier, good or bad. Sometimes we get caught up in remembering and sitting with good stuff. And labeling something as good or bad is our judgments. And in mindfulness, we teach to have, a non-judgment kind of attitude. We're humans and we judge everything. I'm not gonna judge myself for judging this moment, right? So we're gonna breathe together as a way of practicing coming to this moment. You can close your eyes or have what I call a soft gaze in front of you, so you're not really looking at anything. And I'm just gonna look this way. As I said, you can close your eyes, you can sit, you can stand. It's a short practice. You don't really need to be like, I'm going to lie down, right? Just be how you are. We're going to come to this moment together through our breath. So breathing in and out. for this practice, there's no need to alter your breath in any way. You don't need to slow it down. You just need to be with it. So breathing in and out. Noticing where in your breath, no, noticing where in your body your breath is felt the strongest, where it's most vibrant and most visible. So maybe on the inhalation, maybe even on the exhalation, noticing that you can maybe feel some of the warm air as it exits your nose, the top of your lip, or maybe you can feel the breath with the rising and falling of the belly or the chest. Just noticing and being with this breath. You can even add in some touch. Touch brings in some self-compassion, which is always a good thing. You can put one hand on your chest and one just on your belly. And when we do this, we can also tune in and notice the rising and falling of the belly and the chest as we breathe in and out. Not only does touch bring in some self-compassion, some kindness, but when we put our hand here on our chest or on our belly or wherever you're bringing in touch, it brings you into this moment, right? Because your hand is here on your chest now, not 5 minutes ago, not an hour from now. Now it's here and now, right? We're using this to also ground us into this moment. So our breath and paying attention to it brings us out of our head, brings us out of whatever's going on, and brings us into this moment. Whenever you get distracted, which happens to all of us whenever we practice, notice the distraction and gently guiding your awareness back towards your breath. Breathing in and out. And then when you hear the sound of my bell, you can open your eyes and come back to this space. So, as I said, this video is all about how to get through a bad day. So, to sum up, there's 2 ways to do it. By breathing our way through it, anytime we're faced with anything uncomfortable, anything difficult, our breath helps us through it, right? It slows everything down and it helps us to be able to think, because we're slowing down our brain, we're slowing down our nervous system, and then we can think easier and better. Or also, another way of getting through a bad day is remembering the 2 arrows, right? Remembering that sometimes things happen, it's inevitable in life, right? We're all going to feel some form of pain, but our thoughts and our judgments, that's optional. We don't have to sit in that space of, oh, this is awful, this is terrible, what, right? We can notice when that happens and we can stop. You can even be like, whoa, stop. I don't want to keep thinking this way. We can talk out loud to ourselves. We can say it in the side of our head, right? We can stop and we can just be back in this moment, back with this one thing versus all the things, right? And we've talked before about the stop practice. So where we stop, we take a breath, we observe what's going on inside and out, and then we proceed mindfully. So as you can see, pretty much everything is about breathing, stopping, breathing, and noticing, right? That's really mindfulness. Mindfulness is about paying attention on purpose, with an attitude of kindness, curiosity, and non-judgment. So that non-judgment I talked about earlier when I was labeling things as good or bad, right? I'm not really wanting to do that, but the reality is we will be like, oh, this sucks. Or actually, this isn't too bad. So we will judge things, but we don't want to stick and stay in judgment. Notice and come back. When we do this, when we continue to practice these skills, these strategies that I'm sharing here on my channel, the more we do it, the more we can notice and let go of this idea of this is a bad day. We can switch to, well, this was a bad moment. We can, acknowledge this moment was bad and we can let it go and we can move on to the next moment with that curiosity, that kindness, and non-judgment, and realize that, this moment is a new moment and this moment can be different, can be better, right? And so that's what we want to do. We want to bring the mindfulness, the acceptance to each moment. And when we do that, it helps us to get through a bad day. And that's all for today. So I want to thank you for coming. Hit subscribe to my channel to be notified when new videos are uploaded. Thanks for coming. Bye.